C. Blaine, wish we would stop trying to determine who deserves sympathy when it comes to domestic violence. Crazy comes in all sizes. Man, thank you so much for this, for bringing that up, because I'm like, wow, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. One, I know what like women who've had to be victims of domestic abuse go through when they're discounted. And when any abuse victim of any type of abuse is discounted, I know how that feels. I also got more educated. 20% of domestic abuse is women against men, and that's what's reported. Men typically report, they don't report it. If they do report domestic abuse, they report it later. I reported it later. I didn't talk about it. I was like, I'm a man, I can handle it. She went nuts on me and she's violent. I just stood there and took it. I just took it because I can't hit back. Then I go to jail. But I learned new statistics too. 1 in 8 men have had unwanted sexual contact by the time they're 18 years old, and 40% of their abusers are women. Whew, that's pretty alarming. And really, this is like, our society is pretty sexist. And one of the ways it's sexist is that, you know, all women are victims. That's part of my problem with some types of feminism, is it's just like, I'm all for female empowerment, having the same rights, but then some feminists are like, well, women are all victims, they're all weak, but we're all powering girls. And I know some women are like, that's bullshit. We can't be victims and all powerful. And a really good friend of mine is a woman who has an advanced degree. She's highly intelligent. She's a go-getter. She's not a pushover in any sense of the imagination. It's like, Graham, there's no shortcut to integrity. And all of, you know, like through this hashtag Me Too thing, I'm glad the Harvey Weinstein's the world. He's a serial rapist. But then as it started to get more into a witch hunt, like what happened with Cenk and Jordan Cheriton, that felt more like, we're just, if a woman makes an accusation, the man's guilty. Just boom, loses his job. And it's like, wait a minute. That's dangerous. And I've even talked to a female friend. She's like, normally I just automatically believe the woman. And I'm like, wow, you don't think that's dangerous? No due process, no investigation. We got to go case by case. I dated a woman who's very famous now. We dated 20 years ago, briefly. Didn't work out. She's still a friend. What if I just came forward and said, oh, she held a knife to my throat and forced me to have sex with her, and I was just ashamed for 20 years, and then she's on a big fancy TV show. What if they just fired her? Canceled her show, no investigation. She loses her job just because I made that accusation. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. It's not good. And violence is awful. Abuse is awful. When it happens to or from anyone, it's awful. I know people in lesbian relationships that have been the victim of abuse. I know in gay men have been the victim of abuse. I know women that have abused men. I know men that have abused women. Like, it's all awful, and it should all be treated the same. And it's nuts. It's an awful thing. Yeah, and people like keep discounting me because my ex was very nice and sweet. She's young. She's very attractive. And so no one can believe it. Some people, my good friends, believe me. They're always like, God, it's just nuts that would happen. I go, yeah. I've had fights with women. I've had women slam doors and yell and scream. And I've never been afraid of a woman in my life until I saw that crazy rage come out of her. And it happened in a short amount of time when she started drinking and doing drugs. It's nuts. So, yeah, I don't know how we got on that subject, but Craig Rob, my brother had women that smack him and shit. Yeah, people of sociopaths. Natural Progressive, used to be a joke about a wife taking care of her husband with a rolling pin and a frying pan. It's not funny. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the other thing, too. I mean, I know how many women in my life, just female friends or girls I've dated, I'd like make a joke or something. Go, oh, shut up. And they'd fucking smack me. And I'd go, ow. Like, oh, you're a man. You can take it. Yeah, but I don't want to. It's not nice. I don't want anyone hitting me. And you can just hit me. If I do that to a woman, I'm evil. I'm a fucking sociopath. I'm an abuser. I'm the worst. Never hit a woman in my life. I've had women do that all the time. Oh, shut up, and punch me in the arm. Ow, fuck. And it's like, okay, you want to change the culture? You want to change the patriarchy? Okay. You want to change double standards? Great. Start with some of the double standards that you benefit from. Going back to Robert Fernandez's question, I have a joke in my act where I talk about the California Assemblywoman. This came out in January, February. It came out that at a company softball game, or like an office softball game, a male subordinate guy that worked underneath her, she grabbed his ass at the game. He accused her of this. And it was like, wow, let's do a full investigation. I don't know whatever happened, if she got fired or what. But there all this big talk, we're going to do a full investigation. And I do a joke about it in my act. And one of the things I say is like, well, if Al Franken is fired, and just like, okay, if she's done this before, like, then investigate and fire her. Right? Because if a guy did that, male politician grabbed a female subordinate's ass at a softball game, or anywhere for that matter, he's going to just get gunned, right? Well, then so should she. And the joke I make in my act, and yeah, the guy, he shouldn't have wore those tight softball pants, right? I love that joke because I'm calling out women for, hey, you need to be held accountable too, and also that age-old bullshit male sexist thing of, well, she was asking for it, she shouldn't have wore that tight dress. That's bullshit. So if we're going to call it out, my whole thing is, we're going to call it out, we're going to change the culture, then we got to change all of it. Because if we just do pendulum swinging, it won't fix a goddamn thing. I know men that own private businesses, and after the Me Too thing, were like, I'm not hiring women anymore. It's like recently, I go to my yoga studio, and one of the places I go to, they have like a big main building, and then there's a little bungalow. And I go to that class. I go there sometimes. And it's like 10 people in a class, 12 people. And a couple of times the class is over, and I go to the restroom, or I'm putting my shoes on, and everyone left, and it's just me and this other woman, and we're both getting our stuff on to leave. And I got out of there quick because you know what popped into my mind? I'm all alone with this woman. There's nobody here. If she just accuses me of something, I'm fucked. That popped into my mind. I didn't hit on her. I don't know her name. I'm not asking her phone. I'm not doing any of that. But what popped in, she could just fucking accuse me, and I'm fried. What if she's some Hillary supporter that watched one of these videos and hates me? What if she knows that I'm kind of famous or known or whatever, and just is mad and just decides to accuse me? And that has popped into my mind recently in the last 6 months. I don't like being alone with women that I don't know, because I don't want to be accused of some shit that I didn't. And I've never been a creep I've never done that. I've asked girls out or whatever, but I've never done anything like. But I'm just like, that's what's going through my mind. Is that a good thing? Men being held more accountable, men having conversations with each other. Hey man, we shouldn't make that joke. Or look, you asked her out, she said no, leave her alone. Leave her alone. Like, stop, but like, don't post that stuff. That's not cool. Like, those conversations are good. That'll help change the culture. But anyone that is abusing that situation, what you're doing is actually making harder on real abuse victims, male or female, who are afraid to come forward. Robert Fernandez, how's that joke working? Are the women laughing? Yes, that joke gets a huge response. When I do the, hey, that guy shouldn't have wore those sexy pants, I've seen women like fucking jump out of their seat clapping because they see the joke I'm making. I'm pointing out how ridiculous it is. All the years men have said, she shouldn't wear those tight pants, or she had it coming, or she shouldn't have gone to his place late at night, or whatever. Whatever. That joke's been working great. It's one of my favorite jokes. Stephen Carl, our American tendency is to overreact to every situation isn't improved by our culture of fear. We need a drastic shift in consciousness. Fuck you for making that accusation. See, I overreacted. No, you're absolutely true. That's the thing. That's part of this, is America just overreacts to everything. Because we're always in fear. Our media tells us we're afraid. We overact militarily. Our police overreact. Somebody says one little thing online, everybody loses their fucking shit on Twitter. We overreact to everything. I heard Joe Rogan refer to it as sort of recreationally outraged. People like go online like, oh, I'm going to get outraged today. Craig Robb, if you work at a bar and are okay looking, your dick will get grabbed eventually. Yeah. Oh, man. Look, I've heard, just in comedy, my female comic friends have told me stories that just like, oh my God, that's awful. Like, holy fuck, women shouldn't be treated that way. No fucking way on this earth, and that needs to change, absolutely. But I've had my ass grabbed a bunch. I've had my dick grabbed. I've had women say awful things to me. I've had that happen. It's awful. And it is, I don't, and I brought that up, and then women just shoot me down. No, but what's happened more? Shut up. And it's just like, so you don't want to fix the problem. You don't want to fix the problem. You just want revenge? Yeah. It's awful. We need to fix the whole thing. The whole thing. So, yeah. Yeah, you might agree with Joe Rogan. Our critical thinking skills are in severe decline. That's absolutely true. We just have to overreact and lump everything into one thing versus case-by-case basis. I mean, just in the show business world, Chris Hardwick and Harvey Weinstein, I don't think they're the same thing, not even close. I don't even think they're close. Case by case. I've only read the article. I'm friends with Chris, but I have not talked to him since this all went down. I'm not that close to him. It's not like a guy I hang out with all the time, but I've known him for a long time. And I read that first thing, and it just sounded like this woman, they had a bad relationship. Maybe he wasn't that great of a boyfriend, but if there was no sexual assault, that's not a crime. If he actively tried to block her from getting work, then she might have a civil case there, defamation of character. But that's not the same thing as Harvey Weinstein as a serial rapist. Harvey Weinstein needs to spend the rest of his fucking life in prison. Fuck that guy. You know, but let's talk about that a little bit. What Harvey Weinstein did is awful. Fuck him. I hope he's in prison the rest of his life. There are many women that slept with him because he's powerful. He looks like a fucking troll. His wife, ex-wife now, is gorgeous. Melania Trump, beautiful women go after powerful men, rich and powerful men. Any of the women that he sexually assaulted, those women, you know, that's awful that went through. But there are women who consensually went, oh, he's a big movie producer, and went and had consensual sex with Harvey. And this happens all over Hollywood. The more famous you get, the more women just come up to you and go, hey, I've had women put phone numbers in my back pocket. If I were to get crazy famous in the next year or so, it would change. It would change. I've seen it happen. When I've gotten TV shows, I've seen women just, hi. They didn't know I was the host or the producer, the director, whatever, and they're just like, man, who's this guy? And then they find, oh, that's the director. Oh, hi. I've seen that happen. So, and Sharon Stone called this out. The women that are like what Harvey Weinstein did, any assault, that's fucking awful, and we need to say that. And all of the wealthy people that knew Meryl Streep, you're going to try to tell Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks and all these people didn't know that Harvey Weinstein was doing this? No, they knew. They just got a fucking mantle full of gold trophies that he helped them get, so they're not going to say anything. So we need to talk about that. Right? And Sharon Stone said it. She goes, any women that are doing the casting couch, I'm going to go sleep with this guy. He's ugly and disgusting, but it'll help my career. That's on you, man. If you're allowing that, you're doing that, you're perpetuating that. You're saying that. Doesn't allow Harvey Weinstein to be a fucking rapist, not at all. But that's the thing. If you go have consensual sex with a guy that you're not attracted to because you think it's going to help your career, or you're going to marry a rich guy that you think is disgusting because you want to live in a big house, that's on fucking you. That's on you. Anyway. Snork Y2K. Difficult to find non-smoking, vegan, non-religious women after the age of 50. I know. I know. Muscal, don't forget Aziz Ansari and how his bad date was thought of as sexual assault from his date. Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at the Aziz Ansari thing real quick. And then I got to get out of here. But Ashley Banfield I read the whole thing. This woman wrote this column saying, I saw Aziz Ansari at a thing. She obviously was like, he's famous. She wouldn't have gone after Aziz Ansari if he was the fucking IT guy at her office. And she goes, oh, he performed oral sex on me. Then I performed oral sex on him. Then he wanted to have sex. He didn't pin you down. He didn't force you. He didn't use... Okay. And Ashley Banfield said, this just sounds like a bad date. This young woman called Ashley Banfield old and ugly. Women should have skewered that girl, because what that girl is doing is making it harder on women that are actually assaulted. Do I, as a man, get to write dates about women that were... Some girl fucking in a date, you know, grabbed my dick and had rings on, and I was like, ow, ow, you're fucking, don't rip it off. Do I get to write a blog on that? Do I get to do that? I've had bad dates. I've had women that were like, the sex was weird, and they were, ow. I had women bite me. I was like, what the fuck are you biting me? She said, oh, I thought you like, I don't want you biting me. We could all tell these stories. Gay, straight, man, woman, we could all tell these stories. That's not assault. That's not assault. If a woman holds a knife to my throat, that's rape. That's rape. Yeah, Ashley Banfield is very good looking. Well, we got off on a crazy one. This was a good talk, you guys. I got to run. Yeah, the woman that was with Aziz, obviously, she wanted to have a famous boyfriend. She wanted Aziz Ansari to be her famous boyfriend, and he didn't want to. He was just like, oh, I'm famous. I just get to hook up with girls because I'm famous. And this girl got mad and then put it out there. It's just like, woof. Marshall Villager, how consensual if it's one of the only ways women to advance their careers? Men might have other avenues. I don't agree with that. Women can advance their careers without sleeping around. If women think the only way they can advance their careers is sleeping around, that's wrong. That's bullshit. This isn't 1950. Is it still a male-dominated world? Is it still patriarchal? Yeah. But the only way, there's plenty of ways for women to advance their careers. There's plenty of successful women out there who are beautiful, who have done it by working hard. Does Abby Martin get a show because... How did Abby Martin get there? How did Brigida Santos on RT? Right? Those are smart, attractive women that busted their ass to get where they're at. They didn't have to sleep around. There's plenty of women who are successful that did not have to sleep around. So don't give me this thing that there's no other way for women to advance their careers than sleeping around. It's bullshit. You want it to be... I have a career in show business. If I wanted to be crazy, crazy famous... You know, if there was a powerful female producer that said, you want to sleep with me and I'll make your career famous, that's on me. That's on me. I've advanced my career without having to do that. I could be more famous. I've had some gay guys that were producers that kind of like, hey, and if I wanted, I'm not gay. I could probably would have helped my career, but I'm not doing that. I don't buy that excuse at all. What about desperate women who are pressured to fuck managers and shitty job? If it's one of the only ways for them to get jobs or careers, it's coercion. Maybe, but you still have a choice. And I'm sorry. Again, we live in a world. There's options. There's options. There's options out there. You can get a car and drive for Lyft. There's all these ways to make money out there that are legal that don't involve you having to do that. Guys that take advantage of women that are desperate. Hey, you're tight on money and you suck this and I'll help you. Those guys are pieces of shit. They're fucking pieces of shit. But if you say yes, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, some women think porn is their only way to make money. The only way I could make money is, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. What if I know people in show business, this is to a lesser degree, the only way I can make money is working reality TV. No, it isn't. You can say no to that. I've said no to it. I've worked a little bit in reality TV. I don't like it. It's bullshit. My movie podcast would be more successful if we had movie fights and called people out and we're all controversial. There's options out there. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Yeah, there's some people who think going into crime is their only way to do it. That's... Yeah, but you didn't say it was the only way, but you're saying, what about a woman that's so desperate she has to do that? Yeah, the guy's a piece of shit, but everybody has a choice. You have a choice. In a third world country where it's that bad, maybe you could make an argument, but here, no. Men have way more avenues? Maybe. But what about all these women that are successful? What about all these women that are entrepreneurs? What about young YouTube stars who created their own? What about all these ways? If you think the only way for you to get ahead is to sleep around or commit a crime, then that's up here. That's up here. Oh, I have to get a man to feel good about myself. I have to get pregnant. I have to whatever. I got to get married. I got to get a straight job. I got to whatever. I don't buy it. I had to join Wall Street. I had no choice. Let's face it, in this economy, a lot of people will get desperate. There are other ways if you are resourceful and able-bodied. Of women to men, I think you are wrong. Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of women have been in tough times financially and a lot of tough situations, and that's where they created like their home business. That's when you get resourceful. If you think all I have to do, my only choices are to sleep with this guy. Is that the CFN on the ATC YouTube channel? Yeah, that's correct. I had to bomb that third world country. I had no choice. There are articles about paying off college loans by having old guys pay. Yeah, why do you do that? If that option was available to men, they probably would take it. You don't have to do that. I know people who paid off their college loans by starting their own business. You can do anything on the internet now. It takes a lot of hard work. I started a YouTube channel out of nothing. I don't have a journalism degree. I started talking into my fucking phone. Talking into an iPhone with 2 shitty lights. These cost me $150. Someone said, I'll put you on TV, Graham, if you sleep with me. Well, that's my only way I can be on TV. Maybe. If I think that way it is. Yeah, man, I first moved to LA and money was tight and I got asked to do phone sex. And I was young and thought, oh, I'm going to talk to women? No, it was gay phone sex. And money was tight and I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. And you know what I did? I said no, because I didn't want to do it. and I moved furniture. It wasn't fun and it wasn't easy, but I did it and I figured out how to get by. Had a bunch of roommates. So I'm sorry. The guys that are taking advantage of women that are disadvantaged, I'm done saying the same thing fucking over and over again. If you say yes to consent, if it's a gun put to your head or there's physical violence or anything like that, that's assault. If you say yes, the guy's a dick for taking advantage of you. You want some money? That guy's a piece of shit. That guy's a piece of shit. But I know so many women who have been in those situations and said no. I've been in those situations and I said no. Is the system the same? Is it fair for men and women? No, it's not. It's not equal. It's not fair. But in that particular instance, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.